Hi, welcome to One Word Today. I'm Sophie, your co-pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our journey into the deep of the Chinese language. Last time we talked about tits up, 昂首挺胸. So basically it's the ancient posture advice to let your head hold upward and your chest puffing up, right? So that's the 昂首挺胸. We're going to continue with 胸 because when we're talking about chest, okay, it's gender neutral. You don't have to think about a particular kind of chest, but it's your chest. And chest, 胸怀大志. And here it describes what you're going to contain within that chest, because chest is where your heart is located, and your heart a lot of times means your intention. And this is what you have. So instead of a mental, like your brain, right? Like people don't really know back then that your main mental function, your motivation, like everything that electrical neurons firing up from the brain here. But instead they think, okay, this is the engine, this is the heart, this is the beeping portion. So must be this is the director of the rest of your body, but no, okay. So chest was used a lot in ancient expressions in the language to describe this is your mental activity. So this is the energy source, and this is where things get started. So this is starting point. Your chest, it looks like this with the heart symbol back then. I mean, heart looking cute, right? Kind of like, kind of aerodynamic looking. That's our heart symbol back then. And well, on the right side, it's a lot complicated. And I'm happy that scholars ahead of me in probably 1985 or 1958, sorry, they did a simplification of Chinese to make it just a few strokes, but probably capturing this portion. But the whole thing is something grand, something, a lot of content going on. That word, but it's a sound maker. So meaning maker, sound maker, something related to your heart. So something related to your mental or emotional activity, actually. So this become used as hold. So this is your like intentionally describe your mental activity, like your intention. So what you're holding in your chest, right? So it's like what do you have in your mind, right? And that we talked about this before is human figure and spread out. You're making a starfish sign to have your biggest span on your body. That's your biggest extent spatial wise, right? So that's that. 志, okay, we can see another heart symbol. So both of them are heart symbols put in characters. And here we have one 4-character phrase shows you 2 ways it can incorporate into making a full character. So this is putting on the left side. It's kind of narrow streamline this way. So if you, I mean, in computer, when we do this proportional change of an image, right? This is elongated vertically. This is squashed, like elongated horizontally. So expanded to that. But you can see when we put it in a character, this is a full spelling of the heart. This is the full, written out of the heart, actually with this curve and then 3 dots. So it's a simplified of the 3 tubes, I guess. It's the 3 tubes coming from this V shape, right? We have 3 tubes coming out of the heart, and that's the full spelling in simplified Chinese contemporary version of heart. And this is simplified. We just got 3 tube thing, and with just one mainstream line, and then the 2 to indicate, super simplify that's the heart tubes there. So, but in ancient full spelling stage, it looks the same, just different proportion, right? So this is the heart at the bottom, and then the top side, at the top is sound maker, is 是. We talked about 是 before, right? It's a status or a certain class, social class back in ancient China that they started, like originally in ancient times, it started as a military man, so they can defend their country when needed. And in peaceful times, they convert into government officials. So they have to be, good at reading and fighting. So it's very two different functions. But this is eventually, more peaceful time or more elaborate government organization. So 士 becomes a much bigger class, social class, and become much bigger population, right? So, but still, like becoming 士 is like the guard of the country or the maintainer of the system. You work for the government. You are, basically a local ruler of the people over there. Direct following the central government, which is the emperor's will, like whatever instructions or laws from the emperor, one person, probably he has a committee, right? So then that's the execution at the local level. But still, it's somebody who, or some social class, you can imagine local people would aspire to, because that's the local ruler, even if he can be replaced or disgraced or whatever. But he is, at the moment, is a respected class that's guarding this land, this or overlooking. So it's a representation of ruling class, or part of the ruling class device or mechanism. Apparatus is the word. Okay, so your heart, and you're aiming at becoming a ruling class, member of the ruling class, that becomes your ambition. So ancient times, there's really little diversification of what you can be. Like your career choice is really limited back then. So becoming a member of the ruling class is a young man's, mostly young men's. They read tons of books so they can talk the same lingo, have the same jargons, right? Share the same ideology to be part of that apparatus. And then that's the ambition. That's where you're going. And I guess there is a ladders, right? I mean, there must be rankings. So how far you can go. So that drove people back then. That's your one and only career choice. Like there's no glamorification of like engineers, literature men. Well, I guess poets were respected back then, but poets, a lot of them are part of that apparatus. They are holding offices, or they're disgraced or disbanded, and they have to vent into their poem. But in any case, it got to be well educated to be part of that apparatus. So that becomes the driving force for people holding ambition. That's where they're going. So the whole word, even if 士 is the sound maker, that's the target. Actually, that's the perfect meaning maker. That's where you're going to put your heart into becoming a member of the 士 class, right? So 胸怀大志 is your chest holding this big ambition. Very literal, right? It's just ambitious. And well, it's when I search 胸怀大志 online, right? So Chinese, how we are interpreting this phrase now, I find this a cute little cartoon image. So it's a kid, right? It's still a blank paper, but of course, parents, they are pushers of the kids most of the time. So tiger moms, all that. So they have high expectations of the kids growing up. So try to drive some big goals inside their head. So have big aiming high, basically tell them to aim high. So they are kind of doing this, but it's like a lot bigger fist on one side. So the kid have to, puff up and hold that big dream that one day they are going to become bigger than what they thought they are going to be, or probably they have no clue who they are going to be. But at least starting with big ambition. So Chinese parents, try to have this, plant the seed in kids' head to aim high from early on. All right, cash into the currency of thinking by just one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.